Hello everyone.
Meow, Huples Cat. It's time to unbox the April 2021 Apocabox. And I don't know if this box is absolute garbage or not. So I'm not sure if they're trying to save money or not, but they haven't even got a shredded newspaper in this one. It's just all open and loose, and there's some heavy stuff in here, but nothing was damaged. This is a picture of something that you're supposed to be able to build, and I really didn't like this. There is a paracord fishing jig, which, don't get too excited, I couldn't quite believe how garbagey it is, but it tells you what to do, and there's a scale, I guess. And there's some various other bits and pieces in the Apocabox. So let's go. In no particular order. This is a pre-filter bag. It's actually a very good idea. You put water in, and the water comes out from gravity, you hang it up, and you have water that's been filtered. Then you have to figure out how to clean this in the wild, but nobody would quite tell you how to do that sort of thing. I really have no need for this. It's kind of a Christmas stocking, I think, for me, as a decoration. Quite happy to get this. This is a bottle. This is a bottle of pine tar. I think it's linseed oil and pine and something else. Basically, you dab it on and let it dry for a long time on a very dry wooden surface, and you'll get kind of a better, stickier feel and finish. And certainly as a finishing for axes and things like that, and even for the odd knife they send you, I think it's a good idea to have this. And you know, this is not exactly a tiny amount.
Hello everyone. My name is Jamie Burley, and I'm going to be your instructor for this axe handle refinish course. We're going to be refinishing and finishing two different styles of axe handles or tool handles. All right, we're going to be taking a brand new axe and putting a custom finish on just like this. And the second finish is going to be a more traditional style boiled linseed oil finish. All right, and as always, thank you for your support in watching these courses. So let's take a sneak peek at what's inside this one.
So I do appreciate that. And I've said before, I ain't no bushcrafter, nor am I going to be one, but stuff like this is actually great for me to get for $30 a month, because it's every 2 months and it's $65. Because I wouldn't buy this, I wouldn't think to buy it, wouldn't know to buy it. So it's good for me to get these little boxes to make me think outside of my box. But the problem is I get stuff like this. Now, I don't know, maybe you want this. You're not getting it. It cost a fortune to post it. Very, very heavy. It's got a little kind of cheese. If you haven't guessed what it is, it's an improvised axe head. It comes with instructions. I don't know about you, but I don't think using an axe that's tied to a stick with paracord or anything else is really smart, unless you have no option. And if you have no option, you have to ask yourself, how did you end up with no option carrying this everything? Anyway, I'm not really that keen on it. Oh, one thing, if you do get the Apocabox, be careful. Sometimes these are very, very sharp. This is not. But sometimes out of the box, randomly, they will be very sharp. This is not. I haven't counted them. I'll probably be counting them tomorrow and show you. I have a lot of axes. This is my axe collection. I actually have more axes and small hatchets stored away. They've already moved. But realistically speaking, it's going to be a ton of work. Always get yourself a decent splitter. This is the skills challenge paracord fishing jig. I'm not a fisher person. Kitty is the fisher person in the Apocalypse. She has done quite a bit of fishing in life. I have done literally none ever. I've never actually wanted to eat fish. I've never actually wanted to kill fish. Long before I was vegan. But you get two jigs and you get the world's tiniest piece of paracord. I'm not ungrateful for this. But again, this is an example of kit that if you use it and like it, you would have to get a lot more of it. So what does it say? This is this month's skills challenge. So you can look at that and I'll read it. Gut your paracord by pulling out the white inner strands. These can be used as fishing line if needed. Cut off the tab of paracord that is roughly half to 1 inch long. Fray one end of this paracord piece quite a bit as shown, and the other end just a little. Feed the hook through the paracord so the hook is hidden within the large frayed end. Use a match or a lighter to melt the small frayed end just below the jig head. While the melted cord is still gooey, squeeze it and form it smooth just below the jig head with gloved hands. Yes, gloved hands. You don't want to burn yourself, do you? Oh, I tell you not to drink this. I do love the way the world's going, you know. If you got a bottle of this and you didn't know what it was, you just start drinking it. If you smell it, I know you wouldn't. This is going to find its way into an envelope to some unlucky subscriber of mine. This is, I think, locust, bugs you can eat, in a huge amount of plastic. I wouldn't carry this. I wouldn't use this. Cheap, nasty, useful. It's a spare Kydex sheath. It's sturdy. It will take most knives. I'm quite happy to have a spare sheath. I don't have a spare sheath, and it's nice to have one. Last and least for me is this. It's a hygiene kit. I'm not a big fan of hygiene kits on bug outs. I'm not a big fan of hygiene kits in general. What I do is I store big tubes of toothpaste and stuff like that, and razors and things. And I store my everyday toiletries. If I'm on a bug out or I'm trying to get home, I really don't care if I haven't brushed my teeth for 3 days. It's not personally going to be bothering me. Some people out there, I get it, it will bother you. These kits are quite popular. They're actually bulky, they're actually heavy. They have some uses, so I'll go through it and explain what's dangerous in here, what's good in here, and what's bad in here. Okay, talcum powder. If you're going to use it on your feet only for blister control, make sure you've done it before, make sure you've tried it before, and make sure it doesn't make the problem worse. Do not use this on your genitals or your armpits, especially if you're a woman. Talcum powder does cause cancer. This is now well known. Quite shocked he's even sending it, but there you go. I guess you could call it baby powder. You can pretend it isn't talcum powder. Always good for me. Chapstick. Good fire starter, good for the lips. Not bad. A cheap generic, but fairly big tube of toothpaste. Now if you're in bear country, don't use this. A tiny little toothbrush with a fairly big head. We're actually going to try this out. Well, I'm not going to try it out because I know better. But Kitty's going to try this and use it for Wolfie's teeth because he seems to have a bit of tooth decay and he still hasn't got to the vets because COVID keeps getting his appointments cancelled. I don't know about you, but I have millions of these anyway. These are tiny little bars of soap. Actually always a useful thing to carry, or things to have. I'm not sure I would actually carry a bar of soap with me on a bug out, but it depends where I was going and where I was going through. It might always be a useful thing to have. It is pretty light, but these are basically going to be disposable. I have a large bunch of bar soap, a lot of them, that would last me through our lifetime in the apocalypse. Didn't cost that much and it's stored up. Garbage product, hand sanitizer in individual packets. You're not going to be able to store this, you have to use it all at once. It's good, I guess, to have hand sanitizer. I would always carry a bottle of hand sanitizer, a small one to wash my hands and to start fires. So this sort of product is a good thing to store outside of your get home bag, somewhere else where you can actually then get hold of it if you need it. It will eventually fail, but in the here and now, it's a good way of storing a fire starter rather than using what it's designed for, which is to a disposable, environmentally disastrous hand sanitizer. Floss can be used as a fishing line. I would never recommend you do. Try a real fishing line, these will snap far too easily. It also tastes of mint, usually. These are not very good. They're good for making tripwires and things like that. There's some uses for this stuff. Kitty likes the odd piece of floss. She gets stuff in her teeth and it bothers her. So it's also a good thing for me to keep and store, but again, I would not use it in a get home bag or a bug out kit. This is a product for me that symbolises the decaying fall of capitalism. You get actually 6 of them. They are disposable towels. Paper. You open it up. As you wipe it, they swell with water. You can sort of try to reuse them. The only use for this for me in any sort of kit would be using it purely and simply as a fire tinder. That's the only reason I would have this in a kit. And I don't like them. I think they're just symbolic of what's wrong with our society. I carry a micro towel. It dries out. I can reuse it. I can use it for water purification. Don't use one of these for water purification if you want to make sure it's okay. It's only any real use to put water in yourself. Break open your soap and give yourself a bath.
Compressed towels, which I think are an excellent substitution pour toilet paper in the backcountry.
I know the US Army goes on and on about hygiene, and unfortunately a lot of preppers who aren't really that smart have served, and thank you for your service, but they think that what the US Army is telling them is what they need to be doing in a grid down situation, where in fact oftentimes it's the opposite. Yes, if you are going to be on a 6 months or a 9 month deployment, we don't want you getting trench feet, we don't want you getting syphilis, we don't want you getting any of these things. We want you to have your hair neatly brushed so you look the part of the stormtrooper to impress the foreigners, right? But if you're on a grid down situation, if you're on a get home situation, do you actually want to carry a hairbrush? Do you want to actually be able to have a shower during the 1 to 10 days it takes you to get home or to go to the bug out location? I would say no, wait is wait. These I will actually try using it as a fire starter. I'm just assuming they will work as fire tinder. We'll find out. So that's it for me. If you enjoyed this, give me a subscription. If you didn't, give me a thumbs down. If you liked it but you're really unsure about who I am, give me a thumbs up. And yes, I am completely crazy. What you'll get is very few product reviews, but I will review the odd gear equipment I'm doing, and you will get quite a bit of interesting stuff that's off the wall and often will be a different take. I'm not a skilled bushcrafter, I'm not a skilled outdoors person, I'm not any of those things. I am a registered nurse with years of experience, and I often do a lot of medical things, and that's a useful thing I think alone. I am left-wing, and I am green, and I am vegan. So if you didn't know any of those things about me, it shouldn't matter. What is important is there videos occasionally that I can click on that will actually tell me something I didn't know that I can use? Or is there something I can click on that shows me a different way of doing things than how I believe it has to be done? Because there is no certainty in the world. We live in a very ambiguous world. There's no certainty. You really need to get information from left and right. Green, petroleum. You need to not see the world as them and us, but as all of us with different factions at different times focusing on things that I may like or may not like. It is not a black and white world. So that's my somewhat odd message at the end of the Apocabox video. But now for the great unveiling. Ta-da! B. It's a B. I don't like the kits. I don't like how they're going down. I'm really unhappy with this, but I'm having a hard time giving it a C because this is garbage but useful. I would not get a spare sheath. I like a spare sheath. Very happy to get the pine tar. Kind of like this. If I like it, what I will do is if I need to grid down is I'll actually harvest my own and look at ways of getting linseed oil. It's something I've been thinking about for a while, is how can I grow linseed oil to actually produce linseed oil and grid down, because producing oils of reasonably high quantity in a grid down ongoing situation may be very useful to your local community. Of course, I was tempted just to give it an F right out of the box and cancel my subscription immediately, which I've had since 2014 because of this. Kitty was saying to me she's not happy that I have the Apocabox and we have boxes of Apocabox junk. We don't actually have that much. But she is correct. With the odd backpack and the odd waste pack they've sent, there is a kind of a bulk section to our storage that is Apocabox. I like the tools they send, though I don't personally would use them, but this I'll never use, and I'm really at a loss. Do I keep this to try and make this some sort of a passive defense system? What do I do with this? I don't know. It's far too heavy to post. Maybe if I ever meet an Ontario prepper, I'll give it to them as a gift and then it'll be their problem. Doodles! This has been a Scruffy Terrier production 2021.